And there's your slides.
All right, welcome everybody to the monthly statewide meeting for the Maryland Forward Party, October 2023. Thanks for everybody joining tonight, giving your time, being a part of this with us. We're making real significant progress with building the Maryland Forward Party right now, and we want to share you updates. Matt, could you go to the next slide? All right, before we get into our updates, we do want to welcome any new supporters tonight. Happy to introduce yourself. Let us know why you're joining forward. Like to hear from you. If anybody wants to, they can raise their hand and be called on. Not sure if we have a lot of new people on tonight, but if anybody who maybe we already spoke to. All right, Bill.
Sure. Hi, I'm Bill Calise. I live in Columbia. I've been excited about the concept of this group probably for about 15, 20 years. The polarization between the two parties that are there is just really disheartening. I lean Democratic, and I just lost his name. The Republican from Arizona, I can't see his name, who passed away a couple years ago.
Okay.
I thought that if he had gotten in, he had won the primary, it would have been really exciting to try to decide who I'd really want to see win. I hate playing the game where who is less bad than the other candidate. I don't like going that direction, so I'm really kind of excited for the opportunity. Might not hit 2024, but definitely in 28.
Well, thanks for introducing yourself, Bill. And yeah, really glad to have you here. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Brandon Barrett. I am the vice chair of the Maryland Forward Party. Other board members are on the call, other active volunteers, and you'll probably get a chance to hear from them when we get to the committee updates. All right. Okay, so now we're going to talk about our candidate affiliations and give you an update on our recruitment activity. Okay, so if you've been following along with any of our recent announcements, you would see that our latest affiliation is with Ashwani Jain, who is going to be running as a Forward Democrat for the U.S. House, Maryland District 6. Ashwani is currently a program director at the National Kidney Foundation. He ran for governor last year, carving out his own path with a volunteer-led campaign, no paid consultants, and a crowdsourced platform. Before that, he served in the Obama White House Office of Personnel. We aligned with Ashwani with his bottom-up approach, the integrity that he wants to run his campaign with. And Ashwani was previously already supporting ranked choice voting. So he is also backing the reforms that the Forward Party supports nationally. There on the screen, you can see Ashwani's priorities, at high-level priorities of his, and encourage you to go to his website to get more details on those priorities. We do want to make a clear distinction here that for Ashwani and any of the candidates that we support, the priorities there are the candidates' priorities. Those are the policy positions that they are running on. They do not necessarily reflect directly the platform of the Forward Party. If you go to the next slide, Matt, I can try to clarify that a little bit more. Okay, so this is the Forward Party's general 5-point approach on a national basis. And I do want to point out that fourth point to kind of further address that candidates will be taking their own positions on policies. So the approach is that national sets the principles and values. And then the second point there is that state parties set our own priorities. I'm going to put a pin in that because we have a slide later on that will talk about that a little bit more and some of what we're doing here in Maryland. And then the states use their values and principles to guide legislation. And then again, the candidates take their own positions on policies, and we leave that up to the voters to choose the primary candidates to represent them. So again, we just want to make sure that clear distinction on the policy platform between the candidates, and not necessarily reflecting exactly the priorities of the party itself.
And let me go ahead and jump in there for a second, Brandon, and just emphasize some of that. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Matt Byers. I'm the chair of the Maryland Forward Party. And I know it seems a little weird that the party doesn't take positions on policies, but actually that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to differentiate ourselves in that way. We think that the voters are smart enough to be able to choose the candidates based on their policies rather than the party telling you what the policies are going to be, and the candidate then ascribing to those policies. So we're taking a completely different approach. The candidate ascribes to the way they're going to conduct their campaign. They're going to comport themselves in a certain way, and we have a candidate pledge for them to agree to that's kind of like a contract, and you're welcome to read that on the website. But as far as their individual policies, they set those themselves. And like Brandon said, we'll talk more about the state priorities and how we're going to determine that in just a minute.
Okay, so at the moment, here are our current affiliate candidates. These are the candidate affiliates who we've already announced. And these have just been within the past 2 months. So we have Wendy Boswell in Baltimore running for mayor. And then now that we have Ashwani Jain, he'll be joining Stephen McDowell in the same House race for Maryland District 6. So we do recognize that we are affiliating with 2 candidates in the same race. And again, going back to the previous slide, it'll be up to the voters to determine and to vote on the candidate that they feel best represents them. But what I want to point out on this slide is if you read each of the affiliate candidates, why they chose Ford, why they agree with Ford and what we're doing, you can start to see that common thread across the candidates. And as we have more announcements, which we are expecting in the next couple months, and as we are affiliating with more candidates, hopefully you will see that become more and more clear with each candidate, what that common thread is. So for example, let me go to the slide here. For example, Wendy starts off saying, I'm tired of polarization and division in our communities. I believe in a bottom-up approach that starts with local communities sharing ideas and not assuming the worst of the other side. Stephen says our affiliation is serendipitous, as we're both concerned with authentic service to our community and community and country, utilizing a people-first and bottom-up approach. And Ashwani is excited to earn Ford Maryland's endorsement because of their commitment to election reform and building consensus with Democrats, Independents, and Republicans. So again, you can see that it's not about agreeing on all the policy positions. It's not about, partisan warfare. It's about the shared values, and it's about supporting the reforms of the Maryland Forward Party to improve our political system, right? So you kind of see that. And if you jump to the next slide, Matt. All right, so more on that common thread. The common thread across all of our candidates that we support and the affiliations is with the candidate pledge, right? And the candidate pledge is on our website. And the main emphasis there is that candidates are committing to campaigning and governing according to the same values and commitments, right? And those values and commitments are guided by the principles of free people, thriving communities, and vibrant democracy, okay? And each candidate signs the pledge, and it's also signed by a board member of the Maryland Forward Party, and it's displayed on each candidate's page on our website. And again, when you read that pledge, included on the pledge is each candidate supporting the Forward Party's platform of reforms, which we feel like are very important to improve our political culture at the systemic level, right? So again, the candidate pledge is what we have to be the common thread across all of our affiliations.
And you can go to the QR code to read the pledge yourself, right?
Yes. Yep. That QR code will take you directly to the pledge, and you can find it easily from the menu on the main page of the website. Okay. So we are working with our national colleagues to track prospective candidates and current affiliations. And here's kind of a recent tally of prospective candidates and partners. These include people we've already affiliated with, candidates who have committed to work with the Forward Party. Hopefully those announcements will be coming out soon. And also prospects who we've met with or had conversations with. And so you can see we're really encouraged by the number of people who want to talk to us and who believe in what we're doing. So you can see it runs from local elections up to congressional elections, the people that we're meeting with and speaking to.
And we're continuing to grow and expand that list. And one of the things that you may have noticed is that on the previous slide or so, when we talked about the candidates that we have currently, they're all Forward Democrats. We're also talking to Republicans and actively recruiting with them because we believe that all voices should be included in this as long as they're willing to talk reasonably to each other.
Okay. So if you know anybody who is running or you have suggestions for Forward candidate or Forward affiliate, you can contact us at the email address there, or you can also go to our website and we have a candidate suggestions page where you can put the person's name and if you have any information about them, and we can reach out directly and have a conversation with them.
And we'd really like to hear from you.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So then the next few slides are going to be updates from about our committees and some of the activity that's happening in those committees. All right. Outreach. This is a very important part of building the party, building the community. We actually do have a new outreach lead. He's not on the call right now, but Bill has been helping us out tremendously in the past few weeks. And happy to grow out this team. It's really important to keep that contact with new supporters, new volunteers. Outreach involves one-to-one conversations, phone, email, text, video calls, in person, recruiting volunteers for our events, for our volunteer activities, introducing people to the Forward Party, right? Telling them what we're about, listening to them, listening to the questions they have, connecting new supporters, new volunteers with board members and committee leads. We want to expand our county leadership. We do have county leads in some of the counties throughout the state, but we want to expand that. And then also bring new ideas, find ways to reach more people. So that's what we're doing. Again, we're all involved in outreach right now a little bit, but we do have an outreach lead. It's helping greatly, and the more we can expand that team, the better we'll be all.
And that's being led by Bill Stewart.
Yes, Bill. Yeah. All right. Okay. Fundraising. So as a reminder, any donations that are submitted on our Maryland Forward Party website, we do get 70% of all those donations. And those donations are really important to help us cover event costs, such as registration fees. We've been handing out buttons at all of our events. We just got a new batch of flyers. Probably need to get some more t-shirts soon. So these costs are really important as we build the party. We are also meeting with different states for cross-state collaboration on ideas for fundraising as well. I don't know if, Mike, you have any additional thing to add there for the fundraising?
No, nothing additional to add there. The other states have had some successful campaigns, so exciting things to come for us, and also exciting things to start to raise money for as well that we will be getting out there as well.
Yeah, ideally in the future, as we increase our fundraising activity, we can have the opportunity to hire part-time support, because right now this is a completely volunteer-led movement in Maryland.
And I just want to add to that, Brandon. So the donations you provide, which are really important, especially the recurring donations of even $10 or $20 a month, cover more mundane things than even registration fees and buttons and flyers, just things like water. We have to provide our volunteers water so that they don't pass out when they're in the middle of July at a Pride event or some other event. And then some snacks are nice every once in a while. And we have to have a tent over everybody's heads so when it rains we don't get wet. So that's where the money is going right now, just to supporting the events. None of us are being paid for any of our time and effort. So all of your money is going directly to help Maryland Forward get the message out. And so we really appreciate any donations you can make. Even $10 or $20 a month on a recurring basis is really critical and really important, and we appreciate it.
And the next slide is another way you can help us out with fundraising. Mike has built this great merchandise page on our website, and we have, you can see our Maryland colors there, purple and red. I'm sorry, purple and orange. Yeah, so merchandise, anything bought from this site will also help us out. A portion of those funds will go to our party.
And I will say that the polo shirt is really quite comfortable. I wear it to every event. The hat is really kind of cool. So yeah, it's really easy to do this. It doesn't actually cost us anything on a regular basis because it's a purchase as you go. So this is a great way for us to earn some money, provide you a benefit, and you can wear your forward gear and show your pride in forward, and we'll get a little bit of cash in the end. So thank you.
And also open to suggestions. So if you have any ideas on something you would like to see, let us know, and we can whip up something for you, and so you can get it.
Absolutely. It's so easy to add a new item to the list. It's not even funny. So you want a cup, you want pens, you let us know, we'll do it, whatever.
All right, communications. Did I see PJ join? Is PJ on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hey, PJ.
Hey, guys.
Do you want to give a little summary of communications right now?
Yeah. So communications is mostly our kind of outward-facing voice. So that's everything from kind of email blasts that you get from time to time. This is our website. This is our social media platforms. Press releases kind of all fall into the range of communications. This is taking on different forms as we're growing as a group. So as more and more candidates start to affiliate with us, we're trying to be a mouthpiece for some of those candidates to help support their efforts. We'll also continue to post updates about upcoming events. So it's really important to stay in the loop, just to connect to those resources either through the website or through social media output or platforms, just to stay in the loop because we are constantly updating those for you.
Yeah, social media is on the next slide there, Matt.
And there it is. Cool.
Yeah. There are all the channels we're on right now. And also one of those bullets, the the petition form snuck in on the social media page, but that is the link where you can see the party petition form that you can download and sign directly, and then mail it to Matt's address. Okay. All right. Our website is constantly being updated, whether it's candidate announcements or new pages. We're lucky to have a great webmaster in Dave handling those activities right now. Some of the recent ones you see there is working with PJ on values and priorities. So it's nice to have those pages up now. We have the county map where it's clickable and you can see who the county leads are across the state on the map. And then we also have, again, the candidates and affiliates pages being updated regularly with any new announcements. I know there's a lot of other details that are happening in the background, Dave, but I just wanted to bring in some highlights. Cool.
And
Thanks.
certainly, if you have suggestions about what you want to see on the website, send us an email. We're happy to add to it. We're always looking for new ideas. We want to get the information out that you want to see, so let us know.
Okay. I mentioned earlier, one of the tenets of the four parties approach is that the state drives its own priorities, right? And so we share, in terms of our current platform, we share the priorities of reform kind of across nationally. But as we grow our party, we also want to build out those priorities on a local level. We do have a priorities committee. The lead is not on right now, but he did. His name is Pete. He gave a great presentation about some of the current activity and the approach that he wants to take here with the committee in last month's meeting, which is on our YouTube channel that you can go watch. So Pete has an idea that he wants to work in local communities. It's called Prioritizing Epic Problems. And again, he has a full presentation about that. And we do expect more content and details about this approach coming soon to our website. So just a couple of highlights of this approach is it's really a constructive debate where everybody who's involved gets a voice, gets an opportunity to speak, gets an opportunity to convey what they think are important problems, either at ideally at a local level. And other people that are part of the conversation are listening. And then there's a constructive, moderated debate part of this process. So what are being planned are town hall style discussions organized around local groups. And again, that involves steps of community listening in an open forum. And then as information is gathered from the people involved, in the open forum, then you can move on to more deep dives on specific topics. So again, it's a whole process that the Priorities Committee is working on and speaking with some local groups to try to start this. And this is one way, again, we can, local communities can then, build out those local priorities beyond just the reform that we have right now.
And just to add to that a little bit, Brandon, I don't want to take away from everybody going to watch the YouTube video from last month, because that was really good, and Pete did a great job. It's Pete OK, by the way, did a really great job of discussing it. But I do want to say that the approach he came up with, and he does this professionally as well. So this is not something he just came up with, on the fly. But this approach of prioritizing epic problems focuses on problems, not solutions. And that's what's really different about it. So the first step is not to talk about what you think will solve the problem, but actually to identify all the problems and prioritize all of those problems, so that we know which problems are more important than other problems. And so that is done at the community level first. And then you go into the deep dive where you can start talking about solutions. So please go watch the YouTube video.
No, thanks for that clarification. Okay, the next we're going to talk about upcoming events, the event committee in general, and then what's ahead. I think we got a full slate of weekends ahead of us planned out. I know John has joined. I don't know if
I'm right here.
John. Yep. All right.
Happy to take it. Thank you, Brandon. Good evening, everyone. Events is where the rubber hits the road. Events is where Forward gets into the streets and actually talks to people face to face. Put our banner out there. People get to know us and we get to know them. So this is, a really big part of what we do, and it's a big part of our ability to get signatures for those, to get those 10,000 plus that we're going to need in order to be recognized as an officially recognized political party in Maryland. It's also a good, opportunity to, meet folks who may be potential volunteers, and it's a great place for those who are, supporters of Maryland Forward and want to get involved, to really get out there, get to know, what it is we do, how we talk to people, and understand, get to know, board members and fellow volunteers a lot better. You'll find it's something of a bonding experience to stand out there at a booth, at a fair or a festival or something, side by side, talking to people, trying to convince them, that hey, what we're out doing is a good and worthwhile thing. And then occasionally maybe getting a beer or another beverage of your choice afterwards. So I encourage everyone here, if you haven't already, most of you have, to come out and join us at one of these events, even if, your time is limited or you're not, quite sure, how comfortable you'd be, talking to folks, give it a try. If you're really not comfortable talking to people, we also have need of folks to enter data as we collect it from people. So there's a sort of behind the table role as well. But you may find, as I did, that it's a lot of times it's actually easier than you think. People are fairly receptive to our message most of the time. So, if you see an upcoming event, and if you can get out there for even just an hour or two, just come by and say hi and sort of stand there with us, talk with us a little bit, while we're talking to other folks. Definitely encourage it. It's a great thing to do. And on that note, let's talk about
the next slide.
Yeah, what we got. So it's a busy month. The reason being is, there's a lot of community events going on in October, and things really slow down in November, December. So we're going to get in there and get after it while the getting is good. We just spent a whole weekend going full court press at a 2-day event here in my town of Brunswick, Maryland, as well as a 1-day event in Middletown, Maryland, in Frederick County. And coming up, we've got a Pride event in October. They're not just in June. This one's in Laurel. Laurel's kind of a funny town. It's sort of in between Anne Arundel, PG, and Howard counties. So I'm not going to take a guess at what county this slice of Laurel is, but it's in Laurel. It's going to be the Pride Festival there. Pete, our Priorities Committee lead, is taking point on that event. After that, the following weekend, we're going to Potomac for Potomac Day. And Adam, who's on this call here, has stepped up to lead that event. Thank you, Adam. Also a good opportunity to plug, if you got an idea for an event in your area, we will set you up and let you do it. Adam, you want to add anything about Potomac Day?
I'm just in a noisy location, but I did just get some details about like our booth and what's it called, parade number and everything. So I guess I'll be forwarding that information on, and I think we can update the website with it so that volunteers kind of know if they want to join the parade, for example, and where the booth is.
Outstanding. Thank you, Adam. So,
Sure.
Yep, more details to follow on that page. We'll get that up to date probably tomorrow, and we'll send out some more information, in our weekly newsletter or a blast email in the days to come. And Adam also reminded me that we are marching in a parade in Potomac, as well as having a booth there. So it's a great opportunity to get visibility If you like walking in a parade, come on and join us. If you don't, come on and join us anyway. Stand in the crowd and take photos of us doing it. After that, we've got our first, another sort of week after that. At the end of October, we have our first event on the Eastern Shore in Caroline County in the town of Ridgely. And that is a local shindig and mac and cheese festival. So if you like eating mac and cheese and you like talking to people about Maryland Forward, which I imagine probably is a thing that a lot of people would do, that's a great opportunity to get out there and join us. We definitely could use some help for that, especially if you're over by that location. And then on November 5th, we're coming back to Brunswick in order to march in the 91st annual Veterans Day Parade. So Brunswick, Maryland has one of the oldest continuous Veterans Day celebrations in the country, and one of the biggest in Maryland. So here we're not going to be, going around with a booth, collecting signatures. We're just going to march in a parade, show our banner, and pay our respects to our nation's veterans and mark this holiday. So we're looking here both for possibly one or two more people to actually march in the parade with us, and we're also looking for folks to be there in the crowd, sort of cheering us on, cheering the whole parade on, and taking photographs. So if you're interested in any of these, you can follow that link down there, or just go to our MarylandForwardParty.com homepage, and then there's a tab up there for get involved in upcoming events. You can find the event pages with details and contact information for all of these. And if it's something that you're interested in dropping by for, please RSVP, and please, send an email to that contact person and let him or her know. We'd be glad to see you there.
And if you have any ideas for additional local events, then you could help plan your own, and you could send us an email, or there is a link on the events page for how to plan your own event. Ideas include farmers markets, although it's getting a little late in the season for that, going to grocery stores, other festivals, watch parties, group walks, going to the driving range. We might have some ideas coming up in the future to go to some retirement communities and start talking to some folks there. We're always looking for new ideas about how to plan a local event, so we'd love to hear from you.
And that's one other just point to make, because later on in November, December, January, sort of that holiday period and the winter tend to be pretty slow in terms of these big community events that we're seeing now. We're planning on pursuing a strategy of doing, fairly small things where, 2 or 3 of us can get together and perhaps, give a talk at a local retirement community, or give a talk at a local library, maybe explain to folks a little bit about ranked choice voting, or a little bit about, possibilities, sort of policy options to push back against gerrymandering of congressional districts and the like. So if you have, in mind any sort of possible small scale event like that, please let us know, as Matt said. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, John. Appreciate it. Actually, we have the agenda says close out. We actually have another slide asking for volunteers, kind of highlighting all the positions that we need more support with. So we do have, as you can see, we do have a solid group here. Most of us represented on this call, but we can always use additional support for more events throughout the state, helping with outreach, providing content for communications for the website, research on political forum that we could use, again, in different channels. Social media, we could use immediate support with a Facebook page, with X, previously known as Twitter. Again, any interest in getting involved in the priority committee to help with identifying local priorities and kind of learning that process and getting involved there. Fundraising, signature collection, which is key. We still have thousands of signatures we need, and campaign support. So identifying candidates and helping us with that recruitment and that activity as well. So always in need for new volunteers. You will be supported. You will be thanked. We would appreciate any additional support you can give. And we do have a volunteer page on the website that you can go to and enter some feedback and see where some of the openings are. Sorry, Matt.
So I just want to add to that if I can, Brandon.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we know that, and I'm talking mostly to the folks on listening to this on YouTube, but we know that this concept of forward is important to you, and it's important to us, obviously, too. And we need your help to make it a reality. So you may not be the person that wants to stand out at every event and talk to hundreds of people. That's fine. We've got other positions for you. We've got other things that need doing. You may be that person that only wants to come to events and only wants to talk to people. That's great. We can do that too. We need your help to make forward a reality. We know you want it to be a reality, but we can't do it without you. So please volunteer for something. Contact us. Okay. And then I think
You want to take that one, Matt?
sure. Okay. So the board currently sits at 7 board members, which were elected way back when we did our forming of the board. I think it was March even of this year. And we've had some turnover along the way, and we think it's time we expand that board. And so we're going to be opening it a little bit. We're probably going to be expanding that to folks that have already volunteered a lot and have been critical in helping us grow. But we're also thinking that we're going to expand that again. When we get to actually having political party status, we will need to have a board of 25 board members. And so we want to get to that point that we're ready to do that. Those 25, when we become a recognized political party, will be elected statewide. So my point is, if you have any interest in serving on the board, please start volunteering. Please come out to one of our events, call us, talk to us, and get involved, because we want to expand the board. We want to bring more people in, and we need folks to actually get involved in the process.
Thanks, Matt. And again, please contact us. We want to hear from you. Any questions, comments, ideas you have about the party. If you have questions about how to get involved, the volunteer activities we talked about, the events. If you can't find the information on the website, please reach out, contact us. We have an email, maryland@forwardparty.com. And you can also go directly to our website. There's a few different forms on the website where you can contact us directly, leave comments on the page. Again, you can use the email to ask us anything. And then I think, Matt, we can open it up for any questions.
Absolutely. And I think that's the last slide. Yeah. And I just want to emphasize to everybody that we are actually a really fun group of people. We have a good time talking to each other and working with each other. We joke around a lot. We're serious about what we do, but we are not boring. And so you'll find it really easy to get along with the rest of us and have a good time while you're doing this important work. So I really can't stress enough that we want more people to participate, because we want to make more friends. I think the folks that have volunteered so far have become really close friends, and I value that, and I value them. So we just want to meet more of you.
So I saw about 3-4 slides back for volunteering opportunities. There was one was research on political. Well, I just lost the name. The word research popped out at me because that's what I do for a living.
Okay.
So I'm kind of interested in what that title was and what it involves a little bit, or who I could be talking to about that.
It was research on political reform. Sorry, I still have the slides up.
That's okay. Got it.
And that would be entailing how we would go about enacting political reform. I think we're pretty clear that, or maybe even research on what type of political reform is the best. There's some discussion about, is it ranked choice voting? Is it approval voting? Is it star voting? Is it something else that we haven't heard of yet? So, if somebody wanted to look into that, and, Fair Vote has got a really good, fairvote.org has got a really good website detailing all this, but, everybody's got their opinions. So if you wanted to look into a recommendation and, base it pros and cons and lay it out as to what Maryland should work toward, that would be useful. How do we enact nonpartisan reform? What does that mean? What kind of laws need to change to have that happen? We know what we want to do. We want to have a single primary where all of the candidates participate in the same primary, and we choose top 4, top 5. But what does that mean? Do we choose top 4, or do we choose top 5? What do other states do? What's the best strategy to propose? What laws need to change to have that happen? Independent redistricting commissions, again, what laws need to change? Probably need to enact an entirely new law because it's controlled by the legislature at the moment. But so what would that law look like? How would we choose the independent redistricting commissions? A lot of people have asked me that question. I'm like, I don't know. We have some people maybe you could talk to on that. I have a name of somebody that actually served on a redistricting commission before, when the governor had one. Larry Hogan had one. And I think the person you were looking for earlier, as far as name, was John McCain.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Brandon said it, but yeah.
Yeah.
So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'd be interested in giving it a shot.
Another thing closely related to that with the research would also be looking at, what's out there in terms of where we could run candidates. Are there any sort of vacant positions at, the local levels where we could very easily find a good person and put them in there to start doing some good work? Are there any, where are there races where there's only one candidate running uncontested, and we could perhaps, find a candidate who's willing to go in there and make that a competitive race, give people some options rather than just, checking the box for the one choice that's on there. These things are, the information's usually out there, but you got to know where to look. And it takes, a fair amount of time. So, like, for instance, if, I'm juggling events and Mike is trying to come up with a fundraising plan, it's sometimes hard for, us to go out there and find these things. If we have someone dedicating some time to doing that, I think that could be very valuable for us and actionable.
Heinz, you had your hand raised?
Yeah, I'm going to just put one more on the list just because I know it's something that we, the board, have been struggling with in terms of candidate recruitment. We're trying to create something here that captures all viewpoints and welcomes all people to the table. And Maryland is a heavily blue state, but there are red corners for sure. And we are really actively trying to find Republicans that are both volunteers, but also candidates that are no longer necessarily comfortable with with the current status of their party and its leadership. We are looking for, as a Maryland, Larry Hogan Republicans, people that are willing to play ball and compromise and find common ground that we can work with, because we want to balance our candidate kind of slate. And I know a lot of people on this call have put time into looking into some of the congressional or higher level races that are easier to find, but obviously, every town out there has its own races going on, and we just don't have the bandwidth to do that deep digging where I'm sure we can, the people are out there that we'd be happy to work with.
So there's a lot of research for you there, Bill.
Yeah.
Brandon?
That's what I was just going to say. That Bill, there's clearly a lot that can be done. And if you're willing and to do the research, either in that or something else related, it could probably fit with a lot of the different committees. So we'll find a spot. Yeah. We'll find a spot.
If you just shoot us an email at maryland@forwardparty.com, we'll follow up with you and come up with some, you can
Okay.
suggest us your ideas of what you'd like to pursue, or we can come up with some ideas and follow
Sure.
up.
That's good.
Thanks, Bill.
All right. Anybody else got any other questions, comments, concerns? All right. Well, I just want to thank everybody for this evening. It's great to see you all. We've got some exciting things going on. Since the last time we met, we've got another candidate. So that's 3 since August. I can guarantee you that there's at least another 3, if not another 6 coming up. So just keep your eye on the ball and on the website and pay attention to the emails because you're going to see some exciting stuff coming out, and we're looking forward to sharing it with you all. And with that, I'll thank you all very much for a nice and wish you a nice evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate your time.
You're welcome to stay around. I'm just